It's the Full Force News Burst Extra, brought to you by GeneralsJoe'sReborn.com, with me, Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic80. During an Instagram live event back in Yojo June, the G.I. Joe brand team revealed a new name coming to the Classified series. So let's talk Snow Job. On the last name only revealed deep dive episode, I looked at the Snow Serpent, so in keeping with the wintry theme, let's go back to Yojo June, again from earlier this year in, yes, you guessed it, June. The Hasbro G.I. Joe brand team dropped a couple names on us, one of them being old Harlan W. Moore, aka Snow Job. Either the greatest codename ever created or the dirtiest, or both. Snow Job was a breath of fresh Arctic air back in 1983, after the pretty solid green lineup of 1982, with a few exceptions of course. 1983 started to shake it up a bit, and Snow Job stood out in his all-white get-up and ginger beard. His Garrido card art was stunning and looked like it was straight out of a James Bond ski chase scene, and oddly enough, more specifically, A View to a Kill Bond, which actually came out a few years after Snow Giblets, so he will take full responsibility for that costume choice. Thanks. Somebody please feel free to mention if that particular all-white with fluffy hood scene was inspired from something earlier. I'm sure that was the case, but if I were making an action spy movie back in the 80s, I might have taken inspiration from G.I. Joe as well. Anyway, he looked great and he came with some cool accessories. He was the first Joe to come with skis, and the fact that they could attach to his pack as well was amazing. Poles too, so good. Finishing the loadout was a very interesting addition. It was the first time we saw this rifle. The XMLR-3A laser rifle was completely made up and was the standard issue weapon used by the characters in the Sunbow animated series. Utilised for its futuristic look, avoiding any real world looking weapons, which you can imagine wasn't the done thing in cartoons back then. They all ended up firing lasers in the end anyway, so there you go. Not a huge amount of gear, but it was more about quality than quantity, and with the addition of the skis and poles, it really made him stand out in that department too. In the UK, we did get Snow Job on a Palitoy card back in 1985, and they decided to change his birthplace up a bit from Rutland, Vermont to Perth in Scotland. They more or less stuck with the original backstory from his Joe file card though, just simplifying the premise of being an Olympian who joined the team. I personally didn't have him, and seeing as there was no re-release during the International Heroes era, I just enjoyed him from a distance. Now it's very likely we will see Snow Job in his version 1 style design for Classified, and with that you would expect him to come with that basic loadout at the bare minimum. He was also pretty popular during his Pursuit of Cobra release, which pushed his accessory count past the peak of Mount Everest. I have to say, I would love to see a version 1 figure with Pursuit of Cobra accessories, and we do know that he will be coming with a lot of gear, thanks to comments from Lenny on previous streams. 2 + 2 = 3000, obviously. Skis and ski poles that fix together to create a framework that a cover could go on, making a tent, a gas can, modular sniper rifle, radio, stove, pan, pick, maybe some snowshoes like the Snow Serpent, of course a backpack that could hold it all, and throw in an antenna and bracket just for fun as well. He would also need that classic Sunbow laser rifle, because I would love to see that in the Classified line. I would also hope for removable goggles and a removable hood like they've done for a number of figures already in the line, and give him a holster on the right thigh with a pistol and a pocket patrol pack on the left thigh like they did for the 25th release. Absolutely genius, by the way. That would be my guess as to what we see in Classified, and we haven't even looked at any other Snow Jobs yet. Not that there's a lot to choose from. It's either all white or mostly white with a touch of camo. I feel like he missed out on all those fun version 2 character updates because more Arctic characters were introduced, like Iceberg, Blizzard and Sub-Zero, etc. The original version 1 with different upper arms was released again in 1997 in a 3-pack with Iceberg and Blizzard, and in a slightly different phasing deco that basically looks like he has dirty smudges all over his white clothes. Then in 2008 we got the 25th, which gave us our first look at his face in toy form, with a pair of removable transparent goggles and a removable hood, just in case we didn't want to look at his face. That same figure with a different deco, and now the first real inclusion of the camo, which I'm not crediting 1997 with because it just looks like dirt, was released the following year with the 80 AV rock slide vehicle for the Rise of Cobra. In the same year, 2009, they released the same figure again with the rock slide and changed the deco ever so slightly, but this time threw in a vintage polar battle bear and the original version 1 figure with a few minor deco differences to the first. We got the Pursuit of Cobra figure in 2010, and then our last version to this point in 2015 for the 50th, which was the exact same, only with a blue camo pattern over the white. So really the only thing you can say is that we will probably get the original style but with an accessory loadout akin to the Pursuit of Cobra, and with that I would just add that I wouldn't mind getting the all white or camo pattern, or maybe a subtle combo of them both. Maybe a much lighter camouflage would be a nice touch. I don't know where I stand on that yet. It does sound like he could be a deluxe figure, and if that's the case, they could always do a repaint of him in the all-white or vice versa in the future. Personally, I wouldn't be mad if we saw him added to the Tiger Force to give Blizzard some help in the snowy jungles of the Amazolayas. So what do you guys think? Will we be making snow job angels next Christmas? Actually, it sounds awful saying it that way, doesn't it? How many snow jobs will you be getting? Maybe not. Just what are you guys expecting with this one? Let me know in the comments below. Okay then, I will catch you on the next one. Stay fresh, cheese bags, and as always, full force. That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst Extra. Thank you for watching, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force!